going? Hey, who's famous and popular on the Facebook Live page? Why, that would not be me. And that's for sure. What is going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome to the Beehive. Beehive Productions Horror Hump Days, where every Wednesday I read you one of my published works, either a chapter from a book, like we are doing currently, or one of my short stories. We are working on the book Pavor Nocturnus, which is Latin for night terrors. And I thought I was being clever by calling it Pavor Nocturnus. And after I published, I noticed there's like 50 million other books called Pavor Nocturnus. But hey, is what it is, right? Right. So hey Jessica, hey Shannon, hey Kevin, how are you guys? Good to have you out here. Yes, we are at the remote studios tonight. Um, I have some extra guests in the home, and one of them is currently sleeping, and I didn't want to wake them up while I was hooting and hollering with my story. So we came over here to the remote studios. Hey Beth, how are you doing? I was going to go to the Merc and broadcast there, but then I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go here because time, whatever. So tonight's tonight's book, Pavor Nocturnus. It is a it's kind of where a lot of my stories come from, because it's pretty much talks about the land between here and there. Speaking of which, a lot of the creatures in this book are located in the land of Nod, which is the kind of the reality or the plane of existence where all of our nightmares and dreams live. And yeah, so and kind of writing in the background, I'm writing a book called The Land of Nod, and it's supposed to be like a series of books. And basically, this is kind of an introductory one, where one of the characters, where you hear later on as we go through this book, he's kind of the beginning person that guards the wall or the barrier between, or the bridge, basically the bridge between the land of Nod and the land of being awake. So, but I decided I'm going to take you into the land of Nod, and thankfully to some of my readership out there, some of my friends, family, and loved ones, all the stories in this book are basically snippets of people. Friends have. I just cannot talk tonight. That's going to be great for telling stories. So friends sent me little snippets about their dreams or nightmares that they've had. Hey, how you doing, Bobby? And tonight's nightmare is from our very own Stephanie. And I'll read a little bit as far as what she sent me or what she told me about her dream, and then we'll go ahead and on with the story. So far in this book, we have had my nightmares, where there was something in the closet that was trying to claim me, and my mom was some possessed demon that would try to scratch my eyes out with her long nails. The second story was from a gal I used to work with, and she dreamed about this Latino guy who had her chained up, and he gave her 3 blue boxes, and she had to choose one, and the one she chose gave her syphilis, and she died. So that story was called Armageddon and Syphilis, which I read last week. This week's story is called Saturday Morning Fever, and this is one that that Stephanie gave me. She also did the artwork on the back cover of the book, and it is a picture portraying the main character in tonight's story, um, pretty much getting attacked by starfish. So, yeah, that's what we got going on tonight. Anyhow, I have found that I'm able to invite people, as many people as I want, from my phone. I just can't do it on the laptop here. So I don't know why that is. I have been doing invites just on my main profile page, my Brad Bodeker page. Bradley Bodeker, not Brad, because don't be hitting up my dad for horror stories. He won't give you any. Well, maybe he'll give you some stories about raising me, but um, yeah. So I've been able to get people from posting that on my profile page and also just inviting from my phone. So I've been doing that. And also, we've been getting guests from you guys. You guys inviting your friends and your family to enjoy the fun. So that is also very much appreciated. I hope you guys had a very great, awesome Memorial weekend. I didn't get to go anywhere too much because I was on call, or at least I thought I was on call. That's just another headache and another story for another night. I'm not going to bore you with it, but anyhow, um, yeah, I hope it was a safe weekend for you. The roads were crowded. Holy cow! And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, TikTok has decided to stop banning all of my stuff. I bet he has great stories about you. I don't know if my dad does because his memory isn't so great. Because I'm the one that usually reminds him of things that I've done or things that happen in the family, and he's like, "No, I don't remember that." So he probably doesn't even remember raising me. So I might show up at his house someday, and he might go, "Who the fuck are you? Why are you in my house?" You never know. Be like, whatever, old man, just feed me a steak. So, we didn't have any tunes for Tuesday last night because on Monday night, um, as I watched Stephanie almost trip over an elevated dog bed, a few minutes later, I tripped over said elevated dog bed. And, yeah, I went down pretty hard, obviously. I mean, look at me. Um, and I heard a lot of things snap, and I didn't know if any of those things that snapped were my bones. Thankfully, no, I don't think I broke any bones because I can still walk and all that, and no lungs are punctured or anything like that. But all the snapping, I think, were the supports on the dog bed. So I've pretty much uh, demolished that thing. And the good thing was I got Stephanie in a towel to come and rescue me. And but I really didn't want to move off the floor. I kind of wanted to just stay there and hope death claimed me because I have been extremely sore for the last 2 days. So hopefully I'm better by tomorrow or whatever because working has been kind of a pain in the ass. You are pretty hard to forget. Thanks, Bobby. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah. So I took a tumble and I just did not feel like doing tunes for Tuesday. So I did do some studying and then I binged watched one of those Star Wars spin-off shows and finished that. And then I noticed it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I was like, oh, looks like work is going to be a lot of fun today, and reading tonight should be a lot of fun. Anyhow, so yeah, that was my last night, and then there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, so Facebook is now deleting all of these live videos after 30 days. So, that being said, if you miss out on a night, you can go to my YouTube page. I think it's Brad Bodeker 70 on YouTube. You can go there. There's also a link on the Beehive page here to take you there. And everything's labeled and everything and in order. And you can go to my YouTube page and watch the video if you've missed this one. So yeah, it's kind of bummer they're taking all the live videos down. I'm pretty sure I've downloaded all of them. Hopefully, if not, well, then they're just gone forever. So, thank you, Jessica. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better than I was. Actually, this morning I didn't even feel like I could even get up, but I did. I just had to stretch out a little bit. Um, Rub some dirt on it. Yeah. So anyhow, um, it really sucks being in your 50s. I will tell you that much because now every time you fall, you're always like, "Oh my God, I broke something." I know I did. But no, I guess I'm a little more resilient, and I have plenty of cushion to protect those fragile bones I got there. So there, that's what. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. Shannon was help. I've fallen and I can't get up. So yeah, but yeah, I got to bed, got some ice packs put on me, and I'm good. So, but help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lifeline pretty soon, I think. So anyhow, I think it's time to get into the story. It's about 45 minutes. I've read through it. Just wait. Great, Kevin. I can hardly wait. My aunt said that too. She said, "Oh, you just wait until you get older." I was like, "Oh, great." Extra fluff doesn't always help. No, no, it doesn't. But it definitely destroys whatever you land on. So there you go. All right. So let's dive into tonight's story. We are on chapter 3. And let's see, chapter 3. Hey, welcome, Angela. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Borrow my lifeline. Thanks, Jess. You know, if you fall, I'll just try to coordinate my falls with your fall, and then they can both come and get us. So Steph almost called 911. I'm like, don't call 911. It's Monday, and I'm on call, so I'm gonna get the page to go and help myself. So anyhow, all right. What are we doing? Oh yeah, we're reading stories. Here we go. I gotta put you somewhere else. That works. I don't know I'm doing this because I don't use my hands to read. Chapter 3, Saturday Morning Fever. When I was young, I was in the hospital with a fever. I had these dreams where starfish would crawl out of these pictures and try to eat me. One of those dreams, my mother's photo, came to life, and she had the same fang-filled mouth as the starfish. Stephanie S. Her eyes flicked open, despite the crust that builds when in a deep sleep. There were mechanical dings and buzzing in the background, and the sterile room she laid in glowed in its incandescent lighting. The TV whistled with cartoonish whistles and horns as anthropomorphic characters chased one another through a pulsing living backdrop. "Ah, little Miss Ornstein," the nurse proclaimed. "So good to see you awake. You had all of us worried there for a while." The nurse pronounced her WH sounds with a heavy H, so it came out a while. It was annoying to Stephanie, and not something her 6-year-old temperament wanted to deal with on top of a fever that kept her bedridden for the last week. "Where's Mom?" she demanded. I'll call your mom and let her know you've woken up. She's been terribly worried about you. Your father is in the waiting room getting coffee. I don't think he's left your side all week. Steph's parents were divorced. Her mother had remarried, and her father was a bachelor, sharing a lake home with a roommate on Lake Minnetonka. Her dad came into the room carrying a paper cup filled with smoldering coffee. It was the kind of cup that came with a playing card on it. Steph never understood what the playing card meant, but she was happy to see her daddy. "Hiya, Pumpkin," he said with a grateful smile. He set down his coffee and gave her head a light kiss. Her forehead was still wet with sweat. "Hi, Daddy." She had a weak smile. "How's her fever been?" he asked the nurse. "She's been teetering between 104 and 106, the nurse whispers. "We've been giving her baby aspirin and used cold packs on her, but nothing seems to help." 106? Jesus, she could have brain damage at that temperature. "We believe if it doesn't go down in the next 24 hours, we may try ice baths for her." "Have you spoken with her mother yet?" "She called in yesterday." "Okay. Can we have a few minutes?" "Of course. I'll go fetch her a tray of food." "You hungry, Steffi?" She was. The only thing she had consumed was the liquid lunch they fed her through an IV. "Can I get ice cream?" she asked in her tired little voice. The nurse nodded. "Sure you can," her dad said. "The nurse will grab you some." The nurse smiled and then turned around and headed out. Stephanie's dad pulled the visitor's chair next to his daughter's bed. "How you doing?" he asked her. "I don't feel good," she answered. "I feel sleepy all the time." "That's your body trying to heal, honey." Why can't I heal when I'm awake?" "Your body doesn't rest when you're awake, silly. It can only heal when you're asleep." "I don't like being asleep, Daddy." Her face got grim when she said this. She was already pale from being sick, but this new absence of color was fear. He didn't like to see his daughter so scared like this. "Why, Steffi? Don't you want to get better?" "I want to get better, but..." "Yes?" "Where's Mommy?" Clever kid, he thought, changing direction on me. "She's at home," he replied, "but she'll be up here in the morning, okay?" The typical Stephanie frown, but the fear was still there. "Okay, I guess." "Honey, why don't you want to fall asleep?" Her eyes turned away from him and looked at the white, sterile wall. "I don't like it over there." He looked at the spot she was staring at. There was just some frame paintings of starfish and a lighthouse hanging on the wall. "Over where?" he asked, looking back to Eder. "Out in the hall?" "No, Daddy. Where we all go when we dream." "Are you having nightmares, Steffi?" "They're not nightmares. They're real. Just like it's real over here." "If it's just like over here, then why would you be scared? Are you scared over here?" It's different over there. Things are meaner over there. Sometimes I don't know if I'm awake over there or over here, so I'm scared in both places." "Oh, sweetheart. They sound like nightmares, really." She shook her head. "No, Daddy. Even Captain Kangaroo told me that things are real over there, just as much as this is real over here." "Captain Kangaroo? The guy on TV?" She nodded her head. His heart broke when he saw a tear leak from the corner of her eye. He caught it with his fingertip before it ended up on the hospital pillow. "Can I have some of your coffee?" she asked. "Just a sip," he said, helping her hold the paper cup. It looked big in her little hands. "Careful, it's hot." The nurse came back in with a little cup of sherbet and a wooden spoon. "Sorry," the nurse said. "All out of ice cream." The doctor came in just then, carrying her chart. "How's our little patient today?" he said with a smile. "Tired," Stephanie said. "I bet you are. Your body's been fighting a pretty tough fever." "That's what my daddy said." "Wise man, your dad. Can you open your mouth for me real wide and say, ah?" Stephanie did so. After the doctor checked her tonsils, he placed a thermometer under her tongue. "Try not to talk, Stephanie," he orders her. "Let's see how that fever's doing, shall we?" The thermometer read 106.4 degrees. The doctor sighs and writes his findings in her chart. "What's it say?" her dad asks. 106.4, the doctor says grimly. "Damn it!" "Stephanie, how would you like to try something really fun?" "What is it?" "Take a bath filled with ice. It's just like a regular bath, but we put ice cubes in there with you." Stephanie thought about it for a moment, thinking that it would be an effective way to stay awake. "Okay," she said softly. Sleep was trying desperately to claim her. "Hey, Chuck, welcome." Her lids were heavy, and her eyes felt like they were filled with sand. But she didn't want to end up over there. She gripped her dad's hand. "What is it, honey?" he asked her, concerned. "I'm falling asleep, Daddy," she frantically moaned. "Please, don't let me fall asleep." "Stephanie," the doctor spoke up, "it's imperative that you sleep and let your body rest. The best way to fight a fever." Why can't we just do ice baths now?" "There just isn't the staff to do it right now. But tomorrow, if your fever's still high, we'll have you in first thing in the morning." "Listen to the doctor, Steffi," her dad said. "Let's hope you don't need that bath, and your fever's gone by the morning." "Please, Daddy," she pleaded. "Please don't let me fall asleep. I might not come back." "Nurse," the doctor tells the nurse, "let's start our patient out with about 3 milligrams of pentobarbital. That should help her rest." "No! Daddy, please!" "Doc," her dad interrupted, Can we talk for a second?" "Well, of course." "Look, she's been having really bad dreams. I'm not sure if it's the fever that's giving her them or what, but is there something different we could do?" As her dad and the doctor spoke, her lids began to close. With each closure, it would take longer for them to open again. She fought it for what seemed like an hour, but it was a mere few seconds when sleep finally embraced her. "Your doctor voice sounds like Doctor on The Simpsons."
Or he got the rubella.
"Thanks, Bobby." As her dad and the doctor spoke, her lids began to close. With each closure, it would take longer for them to open again. She fought for what seemed like an hour, but it was a mere few seconds when sleep finally embraced her. Her eyes popped open. Her dad, the doctor, and the nurse were gone. The TV was still showing a cartoon with gratuitous violence being played out, with a silly horn tooting in the background. "I'm here," she thought to herself. "This is the other side." "You have to get up, Steffi," Captain Kangaroo said from the TV. "You need to get up before they come for you." "But," she said hopelessly, "I can't." Move! You must use every amount of strength you own and get out of here. You must leave before they come. There were pictures of starfish on the wall of her hospital room. Some were pink, some purple, some were even yellow. The images began to move, slowly writhing from their affixed spot in the picture, and began to slither towards the television. "Oh, God!" Captain Kangaroo yelled. "Run, Steffi! They're here!" Cartoon starfish invaded the television, and Stephanie could see that they had mouths unlike any starfish she had ever seen. They were round mouths that were outlined by cracked lips. Rows of needle-like fangs spun inside those puckering mouths. They were attaching themselves to the good captain. He screamed in agony as they bit into him, tearing away his velvet coat and making purchase with his flesh. Stephanie cried out and tried to get off her bed. She could see hundreds of starfish dripping from the photos along the wall, and they were crawling towards her. She was able to sit up and brought one bare foot to the cold linoleum floor. A starfish near her foot opened its arms and its fangs shimmered in its circular mouth. And just before it bit down on her, she woke up screaming. One leg was out of bed, and her dad was snoring in the chair nearest her. He jumped and stood up, looking dazed at first, and then focused on his daughter. "Steffi," he asked, "are you okay? What is it?" The TV had been shut off. The starfish sat respectively in their frames hung about the room. The starfish!" she said tiredly. They were... They were what? They were coming after me! Oh, honey. The doctor said you'd have some wild dreams and even hallucinate with this fever. He kissed her forehead. "You're still burning up." "Daddy," she said, "I don't want to dream anymore." "I'm going to go get the doctor, kiddo. I'll be right back." She sat gloomily in the dark room. She kept her eyes on the photos of starfish, darting her eyes back and forth. She used the remote on her bed to turn the overhead lights on, and then clicked on the TV. A black and white cartoon was on. There was something hypnotizing about it. The characters, the vehicles, the plants and trees, everything was bouncing to some unheard drum. She could feel her lids get heavy again, and she fought sleep with everything she had. "Steffi!" It was the voice of Captain Kangaroo again. His clothes were ripped and shredded. Chunks of his flesh had been bitten off by the starfish. "Listen to me! You must leave! They want to exist on the other side, on your side! You cannot let that happen!" Starfish began to fly through the air and attach themselves to Captain Kangaroo. He tried to scream, but was muzzled by a starfish. They pulsated as they began to feed on him. "No!" she whimpered. "Daddy, where are you?" The pictures began to wobble on their hooks. She could hear them detaching themselves and slithering down the wall. "Daddy, please!" The suckers on their arms were slurping and popping as they crawled their way towards her bed, their skins rubbing against each other and making leathery sounds like whispers of 1,000 people. "Steffi!" It was the voice of Captain Kangaroo. His flesh had been torn away, leaving a partially covered jawbone. "They won't stop you! They won't stop! You have to get out of here! They will use you to..." Something cold hit her system, and she screamed. "Steffi!" It was her dad. "Honey, are you okay?" She was in a metal tub filled with ice cubes. She had monitors connected to her measuring her vitals, and most importantly, her temperature, which had spiked at 107. The ice cubes rattled around, echoing off the sides of the galvanized tub. Couldn't find a starfish. That's okay, Chuck. Thanks for trying, buddy.
Take a deep breath,
The doctor ordered.
tip your head back and breathe in.
When she finally woke up and the fog cleared, she realized she wasn't breathing. She panicked and then tipped her head back and looked into the giant tubes of fluorescent lights above her. Air rushed into her shocked lungs, and she gasped.
Her temp's already fallen. She's at 103 now.
It's gonna be okay, honey, her dad said, grabbing her hand. It's working. She was more relieved to be awake than realizing her body temp was dropping. She looked around the room and there were no pictures of starfish or lighthouses on the walls. Despite the freezing water, she felt relaxed and focused. Can I go home? She asked.
Once we take you out of the bath, the doctor said, and you can maintain a normal temperature, we can release you by late afternoon.
Oh, thank God! Daddy, I had the worst nightmares! He squeezed her hand. I bet you did. The doctor said that you were probably hallucinating and having fever dreams with such high temps. She looked around the room and saw no sign of starfish or the half-eaten captain. She sighed again and dunked her head under the ice water and then came back up, even more awake. The doctor took another temperature reading and smiled.
98.6. Perfect, he said. Now let's get you out of there and dried off.
She dried off and changed back into her hospital gown. She still felt cold inside her body. She supposed this was a good thing. She stared timidly at the pictures of starfish on the walls and took them down and laid them face forward. The doctor took her temperature an hour later, and it hadn't changed. She was able to maintain a constant temperature, and the nurse began to fill out her discharge papers. I get to go home? She asked.
Yeah, her dad smiled.
With you?
Oh,
Honey, you know I can't do that right now. I'll be bringing you home to your mom's. She felt a sharp, icy jab in her heart. But, Daddy, I want to go home with you. I would love that more than anything, honey. But your mother's waiting for you, and I can't bring you to where I'm at right now. Soon enough, though, I promise. Pinky swear? Pinky swear. 2 hours later, she was wheeled out to her dad's old Buick. She loved the smell inside of it. Old leather and a faint hint of cherry pipe tobacco. She was quiet on the way to her mom's. Despite the fact that she had left the hospital, she wasn't looking forward to going home. Her stepfather wasn't a genuinely nice man, and he made it clear that he didn't want anything to do with her. Her mother, an exceptionally beautiful woman, who in essence looked like an older version of Stephanie herself. While she did love her mom dearly, her mother was too wrapped up in her new husband to even care what was going on with her daughter. Here we go, kiddo, her dad said, parking in the driveway. Stephanie's lips pouted and she sighed again. She saw her mother come out from the front door and walk down the steps to her dad's car. Come on, Stephanie, she said, opening her car door. Get on up there. You should get some rest. Anything I need to know? She asked her ex-husband. Plenty of rest, her dad answered. That's about all. Keep monitoring her temperature for the next 12 hours. But she should be out of the woods. You have been more trouble than you're worth, she said to Stephanie. Now run on in and get to bed. I'll be up in a bit. And don't disturb Ben. Okay, Mama, she said and kissed her dad goodbye. You know, you could go a little easy on her, her dad said. She's been through a lot. Maybe you could take her to your place, she said sarcastically. You know I can't do that yet, but I'm working on it. Well, you're not working fast enough. Ben and I would like some alone time occasionally. You know, you're a peach. He started the car and drove off. Stephanie had bundled up in her blankets in bed. She still felt a small chill from her ice bath, but she was beginning to warm up. She stared at the pictures on her wall. There was a giant photo of her mom, red hair done in a bob, and a distant smile on thin lips painted a darker red than her hair. Her mother peeked her head into the room. "Comfy?" she asked. "Yes, Mom," Stephanie answered. "Sleep for a little while, and I'll make you some chicken soup when you wake up later, okay?" "Okay." Her mother closed the door, and Stephanie buried her face in the covers, and she found sleep immediately. "Stephanie!" It was her mother's voice. At least, it sounded like her mother's voice, but a little raspier. "Stephanie, come out of those covers." "Mom?" she asked. Maybe it was a stupid question, but the voice only sounded like her mom, but not exactly. "Yes, Stephanie, it's Mom. Now come out of those covers." Stephanie felt safe in the warm darkness of her blankets. She really didn't want to see the face that the voice was coming from. Maybe it was her mother, but it sounded like a cheap imitation. "I'm still really tired, Mom." There was a 20-second pause, and then her mother's voice said, "I don't care how tired you are. Come out of those covers right now." Stephanie lowered the covers from her face. She could see the pictures on her wall trembling. They were paintings of starfish, and the subject matter was trying to escape the frames. With the covers all the way off, she looked straight forward from the foot of the bed. Hanging on the wall was a photo of her mom. The heavy wood frame began to thump on the wall behind it. The photo of her mom opened its thin-lipped mouth, and rows of razor-sharp teeth grinned at her. "Let us in," the mother thing yelled. "Let us in, Steffi. We want to come in and play." "Mom!" she screamed. "Mom, please!" "Shh!" It cackled at her. "Don't disturb your stepdaddy, Steffi. You know how he gets." Stephanie noticed that there were pictures of starfish on the wall on either side of her. They were trembling like her mom's portrait, and began to pull themselves free of their prison. The leathery sounds and the sucker sounds began in her head, loud and wet. "We're coming to eat you," the mom thing grinned. "We're gonna eat you all up. Then we'll be free to eat more." "Mom!" she yelled. "Ben! Help me!" "There is no help, little one." Multitudes of starfish began making their way towards her bed. She threw the covers over her head and tried to wake herself up by pinching herself. But it was fruitless, and the blankets began to tear away from her. "No! Get away from me!" she screamed at them. "So delicious," the mom thing slurped. "So helpless and delicious." The covers are torn away from her, and the first few starfish begin to attach their pulsating bodies onto her face, shoulders, and forearms. She screams again as she feels their teeth sinking into her flesh. The portrait of her mom made its way towards her bed. "Any minute now, and I'll wake up from this," she thought to herself. "I'll wake up with another fever,
and I'll have to go to the doctor again. But she didn't wake up. Not yet. She could feel her flesh beginning to be absorbed by the hellish sea life. It won't be long now, Steffi! The portrait of her mom was sitting up at the foot of her bed. We will absorb you, and we'll come out on the other side. Please! Stephanie pleaded with the horror that was around her. Please stop! Feast on her, my children. Take her slowly, as her pain makes the flesh so much sweeter. She couldn't move anymore. She was covered in starfish, a pulsating, hungry mass of coarse flesh. Her entire face was covered, except for her eyes, and she could see the rows of razor-sharp fangs coming from the opening of her mother's portrait, and it was beginning to feed on her. This is it, she thought to herself. This is how I die. Stephanie! It was her mother's voice, but she was hearing it from farther away. Stephanie, goddammit, wake the fuck up! Stephanie tried to talk, but she was no longer in charge. Something else was, and she was just a passenger. Her mother had pulled the covers off her, and she gasped. What has happened to you? Her mother asked, no one in particular. What is on you? All over Stephanie's body were star-shaped welts, and they looked fresh. Jesus, Stephanie, her mother said. What the hell did you do? That question went unanswered. Her mother stood up and went to grab a thermometer from the bathroom. Behind her, the Stephanie thing smiled maniacally at her with rows of razor-sharp fangs. And that, my friends, is the end of Saturday Morning Fever. Now, I know some of you are going to go, but is that how it ends? No, this isn't how it ends. This isn't how any of them ends. And if you stick with us, you will see how it ends. Everything will be tied together. You'll see. Just stick with me. Stick with me. So, anyhow, that was Saturday Morning Fever. And I clapped. Look at that. Kevin and Bobby, I friggin' clapped for you guys. So, anyhow, join me next week. I don't know if Bobby's got a meeting or what's going on. I am for sure probably gonna go for tunes for Tuesday. Monday I have I'm doing one of my retakes for my FISDAP EMT test. So I'll be out of commission there, but Tuesday we'll have a Tunes on Tuesday. I don't know if Bobby will be joining me or not. And then Wednesday we will be doing the next chapter 4, which my brain is really empty. I need to get some sleep. Chapter 4, which is this business of witches. And that one is from a nightmare of a friend of mine, Alex. So please join me for that one. Again, same time, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on Tuesday, Tunes for Tuesday. If Bobby isn't here, I'm just still going to do it. We'll just go solo. So, Chuck, thank you very much for showing up. And thank you. Jessica, glad you loved it. Bobby, you really should seek professional help. I did, and then nobody wants to talk to me anymore, man. So there you go. Angela Dunn, that was gold. Love listening to your read. Well, thank you, Angela. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much for saying that. Kevin, oh damn. See, that is like a thumbs up from Kevin. That's his thumbs up. So, Kev, we got to talk sometime about getting the bike running because I'm about ready to shove some sticks in the front spokes of somebody's motorcycle driving by so that I can ride. So, living in the middle of nowhere really sucks on Wednesday night. I bet it does, man, because farms can get freaky at night when it's dark and there's no light anywhere. Yeah, well, you're welcome. You're welcome for that. So, yeah, so join me next week. Tunes for Tuesday and Horror Hump Day. I've also been working on my other book, my serious book, and I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna read that to you guys and what day we'll do it. I don't know. I don't know. And there's still plenty of other ideas I want to do with this page. Um, and that'll move forward as soon as I can get my damn EMT certification. So, but yeah, I feel torn sometimes between should I be studying or should I be doing my podcast. So, anyhow, all right, you guys, love you all very much. Thank you, Jessica. Yes, you guys are very, very kind to me with your words and your support and all that, and I appreciate it very, very much. So, I guess I'll just keep doing this story hour thing with you guys, right? All right. Peace. Love you guys. Mwah. Thanks for joining me, and I will see y'all later. Ba-dum-bum-bum.